For any Rockets fans out there, I have a sincere apology to make for last episode. I'm truly sorry for not mentioning D'Anthony Melton when talking about Summer League last episode. He is a beast. That is all.
He's a faggot.
Either the love it, the underdogs on top. And I'm gon' shine, homie, until my heart stop. Go ahead, envy me. I'm Raps MVP, and I ain't going nowhere, so you can get to know me. Either the love it, the underdogs on top. And I'm gon' shine, homie, until my heart stop. Go ahead, envy me. I'm Raps MVP, and I ain't going nowhere, so you can get to know me.
Welcome to the Tin Is In podcast. I'm your host, Sean Kondracki, and as always, right next to me is my co-host, Adriel Morales.
Hey guys, I'm Adriel Morales, also known as the Hispanic Bill Simmons.
Okay. Also right next to me is a special guest here today for you guys, a key contributor to this podcast behind the scenes, a true friend, James the Lord. He's also a Timberwolves fan.
Yep, you heard that. I've actually started getting into basketball in 2015, around the same time that Karl Anthony Towns was drafted to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I picked up right around there with that being my team. But if I were to have any other team, it'd probably be the Knicks, and I would have to have hung myself by now.
Prior to being a Timberwolves fan, he was also known as a Grizzlies fan. However, he converted.
That's not true. Okay, they were like one of the only Canada teams in Vancouver.
Guys, he's a bandwagon.
No. At that point in time, yes, Rudy Gay was a beast. Okay? Rudy Gay was a beast.
Rudy Gay
You're
was
both
just
gay.
He's the only player that
he
I
was
know
like
on
a
the team.
poor man's Mello.
You can't.
Poor man.
He was the only.
Just
He was the
Chuck.
only person on that team that I knew, and I didn't even like him that much.
As always, guys, we always ramble on and fucking just say stupid shit for a whole minute until we actually start talking about something.
We do have to talk about some stuff, though, don't we?
Yeah, like the Kevin Love deal.
Waste of money. It really was.
Like,
Kevin Love's a waste of oxygen.
So
I don't think that 4 years and $120 million is worth Cleveland's time, and they have a lot of cap space now.
I don't think
They
that
got
playing
rid
in
of
the
LeBron.
NBA is worth Cleveland's time at this point.
You can't build a franchise around Kevin Love.
You can't build a franchise.
They tried to do that in Minnesota, and they didn't. They barely got to the playoffs.
the thing that I don't understand though is they've misused Kevin Love for the last 3 years.
I know.
So
and
they
he's not,
sign
he's
him
not
for a
putting up
max
bad numbers either.
contract.
He's not putting
Yeah,
up
they
bad
limited
numbers.
him to a spot-up shooter when he was an all-star, and now they just signed him back.
They're probably going to transfer him back to that role that he used to have, though. I mean,
If he doesn't, that's just... I feel bad for Kevin Love.
He's
This man will
averaging-
never get the clout he
he's
once
averaging
did.
almost 18 and 9, and that's very good for someone who's not even the superstar.
Yeah, but then he disappears in the playoffs because he doesn't get a role.
He shows up for about 1 out of 7 games,
1 out of 7.
if they make it that far, that is.
Or they get swept.
They're not making the playoffs, guys. Come on.
Cleveland Cavaliers are not
Do you
making
think
the
they'll make the
playoffs.
playoffs? They're in the East.
The East is
That
run,
might be enough for them.
If anything, they would try to get a good draft.
The
pick.
East is run by 5 teams, okay?
Exactly.
Celtics,
So there's 3 open
Raptors.
slots.
Sixers, Pacers, and Bucks. And yes, I'm putting the Bucks there because I think Giannis is going to have another fantastic season. And I think Chris Middleton is underrated. I think that he is a fantastic right-hand man for Giannis.
And Eric Bledsoe. Even though he was, yeah.
I think, yeah.
His name is
all
Eric.
They needed to do
His
was
name
build-
is Eric. He'll be good again.
All they needed to do was build chemistry with him. I mean, the formula for a championship team always starts with an all-star point guard. That's been proven many times. And if they can get Eric Bledsoe to be an all-star point guard this year, especially in the East, which is so weak on superstars, then I think that they'll have a chance to make a run in the East. Maybe not to the championship, because Celtics are going to...
Eric Bledsoe is terrible. He should be traded. He does not deserve to be on the Bucks. He's ruining them. But backtracking to the Kevin Love deal, do you think his game is going to age well? Because it's not exactly like he relies on athleticism to score his points. And it's not like he plays a lot of defense anyway. So do you
Defense
think-
doesn't matter.
Do you think 3 to 4 years from now he's going to be the same player that he is right now?
I don't think he's going to be the same player he was this year in 1 to 2 years. I think that he's going to have an abrupt fall off.
I feel like his numbers are going to be better, strictly because
His
now
efficiency
he's
won't be.
yeah, exactly.
His efficiency will be
He's
horrible.
gonna suck,
Do you think
but his numbers will be good.
Colin Sexton's going to touch the ball more than him?
Yeah. because he's a point guard. And also,
but he's not the number one man.
Yeah,
Sexton's a rookie.
But they want him to be the number one. He's going to grow into it. But that's another thing, though. For the thing is, the Cavs won't be good for a little bit. So does this make sense? Because if you want Kevin Love to space the floor for Colin Sexton and have him develop really nice with a stretch four, do you think this is a good move?
Just keep him away from J.R. Smith.
How would you define it? Do you think that they're a championship team within the next 4 years?
No.
Then it's a waste of money. It's a waste of cash.
No, but I'm saying they're not going to be a championship team.
If you're using him, to develop
Colin Sexton,
then yes, it's a perfect move for them because I think that Kevin Love, though he will never be the number one player on a team, I really don't think that he's going to be the best player on the Cavaliers this year. I think that prize will go to Colin Sexton.
Well, at this point, Colin Sexton makes or breaks their franchise. They're fucked if he sucks.
Well, or they could just tank it up and draft another person.
Trust the
If
process.
they do tank, do they have any extra picks? Did they trade for any in that blockbuster deal?
No, so
They don't have any future picks for 2000.
They do.
They do. They have all of them.
Picks.
Okay,
they're not the fucking.
Because they might want to deal Kevin Love at the trade deadline if it's not working out.
I don't think anyone's going to take that contract for 4 years.
They can still keep half of it.
No one's going to take it for 4 years. They'd have to wait a few years for them to trade it.
Maybe the Nets.
Also, do you think the Cavs are going to be bad enough to get a top 3 draft pick if Kevin Love is on their team?
No, they'll always be like a 10 seed, maybe a 9 seed. They'll barely
12.
miss the playoffs.
I say 12
They'll
seeds.
barely miss the playoffs. You're talking about such a weak conference right now in comparison to the Western Conference.
Yeah, it's a very weak conference.
It's so funny.
They won't be that low. I mean, they'll be low because without LeBron, they're probably one of the bottom 10 teams in the league.
Even with LeBron, they were, what, the 4th seed? 5th?
Oh, yeah, because LeBron didn't try in the regular season. People still wanted to go in the MVP.
He's not gonna be able to do that with the Lakers because he's going to have to go full out.
I think the team surrounding him on the Lakers is...
That's going to be rough on him, and he's like, 34 years old?
It was already rough on him in Cleveland. Can't get much worse.
Well, no, because he's got a lot of guys developing around him.
The only way LeBron would be more fucked is if he signed with Atlanta. And that's only because Melo's there.
With who? Did you just say LeBron signing?
Melo is getting bought out to the Rockets.
I said he'd be more fucked if he signed with Atlanta. That's the only
Just
way
the
he'd be more
remnants
fucked.
And Melo stays?
Just because Melo's there.
LeBron and Melo?
Forget the fact that there's no other players on that team. The worst part is that Melo's there.
I can't believe
Here first, the Hawks are the next 76ers. They're trusting the process, tanking it up.
With the Nets?
That's why they got Melo.
Hawks.
They're trying to be the Warriors.
The Hawks?
I just
They've
said
got
they're letting
Trae
go
Young.
of Melo.
They're not going
Trae
to
Young
let go.
is either going to be a top 10 player in the NBA in 10 years, or he's going to be
One of the worst
bust.
busts of all time.
He's gonna like a next to Anthony Bennett kind of bust. Because that man in March Madness was like spot on for one of those games, and then that was their only game. They got eliminated first round, but before that, it was a roller coaster ride at Oklahoma.
I just think it's so funny how in the West, every seed from 3 to 8
Was
is
like within one game.
Yeah, and then but for the East, it's like every seed from fucking 3 to like 16. It's like they're battling out for who's the tank war right now.
The Tankor.
Who's going to be the best tanker?
Well, when LeBron was in the East, they actually, nobody had a shot. But now it's like it's a battle. There's 3 teams competing. Maybe if you throw in the Pacers,
and then the Pacers and the Bucks are up and coming.
I think the Hawks getting Melo.
Oladipo has to have
Smartest
a
move they could have made.
Who?
Yeah, because they got
The
rid
Hawks.
of Schroeder, and they don't have to keep Melo.
Who cares about Schroeder? They have Melo, so now they can get the first pick.
Well, they got rid of Schroeder, so
They
that they
get
can
rid of Melo.
Getting rid of Schroeder allows Trae Young to touch the ball more often.
That's another thing I want to talk about, though. For young rookies, they're coming into the league as 19-year-olds, and when Jordan came into the league, he was, 21? He already developed really well. under
LeBron
North
was
Carolina.
fine.
So he came into the league as, a
21-year-old.
Yeah, and a 20-point scorer. But now, if you're coming...
28 or something like
Yeah,
that.
and if you're coming in as a 19-year-old and you're sucking it up for 2 years, is that really worth it? Like, do you think the one-and-done rule is good? Or do you think...
Well, look at Donovan Mitchell. He averaged 20 and a half.
There's exceptions to every rule. I'm just saying, for players like Trae Young and Lonzo Ball, who
I honestly
actually would have benefited a lot from, a few more
Well,
years.
it's their decision, though.
Well, yeah, they just
They can choose to not enter the draft.
Obviously, they just want the money, but
Aren't they being paid in the NCAA?
Do you think the NBA would be a better product though if rookies came in later?
They made players stay for 2, 3?
Yeah,
like the NFL, 3 years.
Yeah.
Then I think that the players would lose a lot of prime time.
But the NBA would be such a better product.
You think so?
Yeah, because the rookies coming in would make such a bigger impact than just tanking it up in the first year.
Yeah, but the requirement to attend college for 4 years.
For 3, or 2 or 3.
2 or 3?
After that.
1 and done. I think that's where it's at.
I'm just surprised that the people who go to like Duke and have those runs at championship games, and they're not staying, right? And then they build up the next team and they get more prospects, and then they go into the NBA ready because they've had, Coach K.
Well, it's also another thing. If you stay for a few more years, maybe you get your spot taken by a freshman.
Yeah. because they're, especially those big colleges, because that's where most of these guys are coming from. They're not coming from, technical schools. They're coming from big universities that bring in tons of new guys every single year. And sometimes that class that they're bringing in is going to be better than the one that they brought in 3 years ago. And that's just something that they have to look to. Because if they're a starter year 1 and they put up 20 points a game in college, you don't know that they're going to put up those same numbers when they're a senior. Because, they might fit the system well and they might know the coach, but that doesn't guarantee anything.
That's a good point. Also, on a completely irrelevant topic, any idiot that thought that Clint Capella was not going to be a Rocket for the next few years, you're dumb.
You're dumb.
Everyone was saying how the Rockets are doomed.
The Rockets are doomed.
And Clint Capella is going to not be there for the long term. 5-year, $90 million. So suck it, bitches.
The Rockets had their shot. The Rockets had their shot.
All right.
They were one game away from basically the champion.
Then Chris Paul said, "Fuck durability." Now you guys are gonna be second seed again, but second seed this time.
All right, I think we should get into these power rankings.
All right.
Yeah, let's get into these way too early rankings that we're gonna do.
Like preseason.
But it's the NBA, so you can predict what's gonna happen right when the off season is starting to end.
Should I just name all 10, or we're gonna go?
Just go ahead.
We're gonna do. Everyone's gonna give out the top 10 teams in the league right now.
Okay, go ahead, Adriel.
Wait, but am I going 1 through 10?
Just go 1 through 10. Yeah.
Okay.
And try to explain if you can.
Okay.
Briefly.
At number 1, I have the Warriors.
Obviously.
Yeah, no question there.
5
Do you think they're gonna get the best?
They
record
are
in
the all-star team.
I think they're gonna go like 66-16. Because they don't have a bench anymore. They have no depth there.
They don't try that hard in the regular season anymore, though.
They don't even try. Who cares?
They can get 45 wins, make the playoffs, and as an 8 seed, and then steamroll over everyone.
Yeah, but do you think they're going to finish with the best record in the league?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that any team with 5 All-Stars is going to have...
Yeah, but last year it was just like, by the end of the year, they had like all their All-Stars sitting out.
Once you clinch that 1 seed, it's all over, man. And the Rockets at that time had 2 key pieces. Ariza and Mbamute. Defensive keys. They're gone now. So that affects a lot of wins, especially since in regular season your bench affects a lot.
Shut up.
Self-confidence is hurt.
Hey man, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that the Timberwolves are the best team.
Exactly. Where are the Timberwolves at? Jimmy Butler's leaving.
8 seed.
Right.
Jimmy Butler's not going anywhere, guys. Don't worry. Not yet.
Not until next year.
Kyrie's coming to us.
He's forced to stay right now.
Kyrie's coming to us.
Alright.
Go ahead.
Number 2, I got the Celtics. I think that's pretty clear. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals and almost beat the Cavs with the injured Kyrie.
Do you think that all of those young guys and bench players doing that well will affect their chemistry at all, as far as touches and as far as how their player development goes?
It'll definitely hurt their player development because they're not touching the ball as much, so gaining less experience.
Because they have such a fantastic bench.
Yeah, their bench is amazing. And then you have Kyrie, who's very ball dominant. His usage rate, it's not as bad as someone like Westbrook or Harden, obviously.
I would really love to have Kyrie.
Hey, Harden's usage rate is still efficient, so...
If that dude, he's one of the best finishers in the NBA easily.
And then I think their chemistry will be fine, though, because not only is their team just all around great, they also have Brad Stevens as a coach.
Brad Stevens is
Do you honestly think that with both of those stars, Hayward and Irving, if they were there in that game, considering that all those young players had such a fantastic postseason, do you think that they would have had a similar result?
I think they would have won.
You think they would have won the series?
Yeah.
How about, do you think they would have beaten the Warriors?
No.
I think they would have.
I don't know
Beating
if
the Warriors?
I think they would have.
I don't know if their rookies would have been able to develop as much though without that burden of having to play in the playoffs and trying to beat the number 1 and number 2 option, because that's a lot bigger role than they would have had as just a role player in the playoffs. Gets you a lot of experience.
See, right now, anyone that plays the Warriors in a 7-game series is getting swept.
Well, yeah, at this
definitely
point.
not the Celtics,
But not last year. Last year
Or
was
the Rockets.
completely different. Boogie Cousins is a huge addition, and especially since they got him for 5
lies. To
That is
play
he's,
What do you mean
he
lies?
is not a good locker
ruptured
room.
Achilles.
He's a
not
top
good locker
center.
room player.
Ruptured Achilles.
No one's a good locker room player.
No, but he in specifics he's just not a good teammate. And
Yeah.
his career record shows it.
Exactly.
Even on Sacramento,
Warriors are overrated.
they tried to rebuild around him, and you just can't. You can't build a team
Yeah,
like him.
because he's tinny.
Alright.
Because he's not a leader.
He's not any.
And that's why he suits best as their third option.
Suits him best. Just being a cancer.
Being cancer. Being mellow.
Who else you have?
Alright, so moving on. At number 3, we got the Rockets. They lost some key pieces, which I feel like if they didn't lose, they would have been above the Celtics. But they re-signed Clint Capella, which was a good move for them.
And they got Melo.
That was a bad move for them.
Which is why
But
they
go
are
ahead.
beneath the Celtics.
Yeah.
And so the Rockets, I think they stayed in the same area they were. Like, I would have put them at number 3 last year as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they...
What? Number 3 last year?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Like, if I were to do the power rankings last year,
Preseason?
I would have.
Oh,
yeah,
preseason?
preseason. I would have put them at 3.
So
The
what you're
Rockets?
saying is they might be better than what their preseason ranking is.
They might be worse.
They probably will be worse.
They definitely
Do you have the Rockets ahead of the Celtics?
Absolutely not.
All right. Here's why the Rockets will be better than the Celtics.
Go ahead and tell your fanboys.
Your fanboys.
Shut up. Because you guys forget that there's a buyout market. So once someone with a bad contract, like DeMar Carroll, gets released and bought out by the Nets during the season, the Rockets are going to swoop in and be like, pow, now we got DeMar Carroll. So now all of a
Is he
sudden...
really a game changer?
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Well, you're saying Trevor Ariza and Mbah is a game changer. DeMar Carroll is
Defensively.
like... Yeah, well, DeMar Carroll is literally the same player.
As Mute.
Exactly.
I
He's
only
not the same
think
player as Ariza.
Ariza didn't even hit a single
Ariza-
three. In,
when I say they're game changers, I mean that they're game changers when competing with teams close to them, like the Celtics.
or the Warriors.
No, like the Celtics.
In order to
The Warriors
get
are not close
that
to anyone.
game changer, they needed to trade up for a pick. I mean,
No,
there were so many
But they
good
also
rookies.
can trade bad contract for bad contract because
Why
Ryan.
would they want a bad
No,
contract?
no.
That's
so
all player.
we have
player
a
value.
bad contract in Ryan Anderson, but if we flip him, he's useless against good teams like
But
the Warriors.
would you rather
But he-
have Ryan Anderson at bad contract or Melo?
No.
Because Melo's washed up.
Yeah, but Melo's vet minimum. What
You
I'm
want me
saying?
to explain to you why you guys won't be
What-
better than
no,
the
no.
Celtics? Here's what I'm saying. You guys have Melo.
Shut up.
Your argument's
Melo's
worthless.
gonna be actually good for once in his life.
He's like AI. He won't be able to accept that he's not the superstar anymore.
Yeah.
And that was proven in OKC single-handedly. He played with Russell
He
Westbrook.
played with Westbrook. That was the
Okay,
problem.
listen, exactly. He's not touching
Harden
the ball,
has
but
the
when
same
he did, he
usage
missed.
rate as Westbrook.
No, he doesn't.
Yes,
Who?
he does.
No, he doesn't.
Who?
Yes, he does.
Westbrook.
Harden and Westbrook. They have very similar ones.
Not
at least.
really.
Harden has 34. Westbrook has near 42. 42 is like the highest in the league by like
Usage?
so much. Like I don't even know. Like Russell Westbrook literally got Paul George, and the number of touches
You
per
think
game increased. The number of touches in game increased. You know
That's
why
hard to
Melo
do.
didn't work? That because of that shit.
And because he's Melo.
Also, because if we trade Ryan Anderson for someone like
Then
Kent
why would he go
Bazemore
there?
or Courtney Lee,
Then why do you
But-
think Melo would go to OKC and stay or try and stay in OKC? Because he was going to stay. He signed into that. He was invested into OKC.
Remember when
They
Melo
got
didn't
rid of
really
him.
want to leave
because he wanted
New
to
York.
win, but then he realized
He
it was
wanted to win.
impossible with
He
Westbrook.
wanted to win. You can't want to win on a team like that and still have that superstar mentality.
He should have gone to
You
the
have
Warriors.
to become a role player. If he wants to win, I guarantee you right now, someone will sign him. But they're gonna sit down and they're gonna say, listen, you are not gonna touch the ball as much as you did. If you do, we are going to lose a lot more games than we did.
Because you're Carmelo.
Well, the thing is, the Rockets are a smart team. I don't think they're just gonna
If
be
the-
like, if Melo's gonna be a cancer, they can just sit him.
If
I
the
think
Warriors had signed Melo, they're out of the playoffs.
No, I
Melo's
Melo's
Melo's the be all
he's got
end
a
all.
fantastic resume. He's scoring. He's a 24.7 point scorer.
It's not about his
but he
past
isn't
resume.
anymore.
It's just about
He's a 15 a game at most. That's his maximum right now.
Tell me what's
He needs
positive
to-
about
he
Melo.
needs-
He's not
Alright,
efficient. He doesn't play defense.
Alright,
he
He's
doesn't
an
do
electric
anything.
shooter when he's on.
exactly.
But he's never on.
That's
Exactly. Because he doesn't touch the
But just
ball.
think about it.
I'm not saying that he needs to touch the ball more.
Game 7, the
But-
Rockets missed 23s in a row. If Melo's on the team, you really think we missed 23s in a row?
Yeah, I think you're right. You would have missed 30.
Maybe 40.
You guys will see.
Melo took too many shots on OKC because he didn't get opportunities. He would
Yeah, so
he
when
would
he did
lack
get
a
it, he
stat
didn't know
line.
what to do.
No, he was
he was lost.
lacking a stat line late in the game, or it could be at halftime. Who knows?
Victor Oladipo, he was like, when he finally got the ball in his hands in OKC, he's like, what do I do with that?
He
I've
had
had it all year.
Mamba
I
mentality.
haven't had it all year.
No, but I think you're right. I think Melo could be a good piece to Houston if he sits down with D'Antoni and lets him know that he is not going to be the superstar.
Exactly.
And that he is ready to fill a role player position, and he hasn't been able to do that in a long time.
Not a long time. Melo's never had it. Exactly. He's fucked.
Yeah.
This dude's screwed.
But the thing that most people don't understand is it's a low floor, high ceiling, because if Melo's trash and he's being a dick,
You're not paying a lot for him.
we're paying the minimum. We
Yeah.
could just sit him.
You're paying to hurt your team, though.
The minimum possible.
The minimum. But why?
I think for that money, it is a good addition, though.
It is not.
Like if they were to buy out the contract that OKC was paying him, $28 million.
It would be
Then
a good addition.
Anything but the minimum would have not been good.
No, the
But
only
for
way
that
the
minimum-
only way it would have been good is if Melo paid them to play for them.
All right, get back on track. Do number 5. Who's your number 5?
No, it's number
Or
4
your
at this
number
point.
4. Number 4. It's probably the Raptors.
Yeah, it's the
We
Raptors.
pretty much all agree on that one.
The Raptors.
I actually had them at 3. I had them ahead of the Rockets.
All right,
The Rockets have Melo. Don't argue with him.
all right, whatever.
He's right, man.
We just argued for that for like 5 minutes.
Go ahead.
Number 5, I got the Lakers.
Okay.
Le-
Disagree entirely. Go ahead,
Disagree
though. Keep
entirely
going.
as well.
LeBron.
We'll recap that.
Okay.
LeBron, not as sufficient.
6, Thunder.
Okay, I can see that.
7, Jazz.
Jazz. Okay.
Jazz behind the Thunder.
If Gobert's there all season, I can see that happening easily. Go ahead.
8, Timberwolves.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot.
9, I have the Nuggets.
The Nuggets.
Surprising, but I like it.
That's a very dark horse. pick.
Isaiah Thomas, turnaround season. I'm feeling it.
The Nuggets have such an
The
underrated
Nuggets,
team.
yeah, but the Nuggets were the 9th seed last year.
They have Paul yeah. But now they have Isaiah
But
Thomas.
they have
for the
all
vet
the
minimum.
they have all the old guys there, but they have like
But they also
two,
have nice
two
young
young
guys, like Murray and Jokic.
And then-
Jokic
Yeah.
is very good. He is very good.
Millsap, Jokic,
All right, what's the last team?
Spurs.
No
Nope.
76ers?
You didn't have the 76ers
I
in your
didn't-
top 10?
I don't trust the
You don't go-
process.
you don't trust the process.
I don't trust
The
the
only way
process.
they don't get in top 10 is if someone gets injured,
Some-
which is pretty likely.
Exactly.
But we'll see.
76ers are my 11. The
All right.
Spurs, I feel like the Spurs are the most underrated team in the league now. Because
Do you really
They
think
had a-
DeRozan can carry the load?
they had a
He needed-
winning record and Kawhi didn't play.
Okay, but they also... Okay, I see. Maybe Popovich works the magic.
Yeah,
Okay?
exactly.
But do you really think that team right there is top 10?
At 10, yes.
That's
man.
top 10. That is top 10.
Yeah.
Do you really put a team that would get swept in the first round in the top 10?
If they were in the East, they'd make it pretty far, though. Like, they're
Anyone
in
in the
It's
East-
only because they're in the West that they'd make it or that they'd get wrecked.
Yeah, but that works for every team in the West. That's why there's so many West teams in the top
I
10
think-
power rank.
A very underrated team
But that doesn't make
no
sense
one
with
is
this.
thinking about is the Pacers.
The Pacers.
Pacers are very underrated.
I think you're missing the Pelicans.
Nah.
Yes.
I don't think
They
so.
got rid of Boogie Cousins and they got better. They got better.
Yeah, they also
They got better.
they lost Rondo. Playoff Rondo.
playoff round.
Yeah, but it doesn't
How are they going to
matter.
win without playoff
Drew
Rondo?
Holiday. playoff Drew.
Drew Holiday was better as a shooting guard, and now he has to be the point guard again.
That doesn't really do anything to him, considering that he's just going to be chucking it up to Davis. But they have Etwan Moore, Randall. They got Meritage.
Okay.
All right. But if the Nuggets is your dark horse team, the Pacers is my dark horse team because
Okay.
Victor Oladipo is very, very good.
Okay, I agree. Victor Oladipo is very, very
And
good.
also, I think Miles Turner is going to take a jump this year.
But
My dark horse is the Bucks.
Are the Pacers a top 10 team?
Yeah, because
No.
in terms of record,
That's what we're going.
I'm
We're
assuming
going power rankings here.
I'm assuming you didn't have the Spurs on your list.
no,
Obviously not.
because I had the Timberwolves.
It's not obviously not.
and
Okay,
the
listen.
Lakers.
The
I
Spurs?
respect it because of Popovich, right?
Yeah,
I always
exactly.
think that
Like
any
you can never
team that
count the
give
Spurs
Popovich
out, but it's just
has a
like,
chance.
ugh.
But I think they might have a good record. I really do. But I don't think that they are a top 10 team because they are not even top 5 in the West.
Yeah, but
They're not even top 7 in the West.
yeah, but 8 of the top 10 teams are in the West anyways.
That's not true. There's
It's
at least
Raptors,
4.
Celtics.
There's at least 4.
That's all I see.
Raptors, Celtics, Sixers.
Eh.
If you can't trust the process.
No.
You really don't.
No.
Not even in the regular season.
The Sixers
Yeah.
aren't.
the durability is
The
But
durability.
what if they get Fultz back and he's returns to that?
What if they get him back? What
What
if he
if?
finally plays a game?
What if he really just shoots
what if
above
he learns how to
50%?
play basketball?
Yeah,
He had the weirdest injury I've
he'll
ever
fucking
heard.
lose his amnesia. His amnesia will go away. He'll remember how to fucking play. Like,
I remember what basketball is.
like,
entirely.
oh, this is
don't
called
understand it.
dribbling.
I don't understand how they draft someone, he's injured for like a decade, and he comes back and he's an all-star. Just out of the blue. Look at Embiid. Who knew? He was gone for 2 years.
That's pretty true, actually. Like,
Look at
what if that
Simmons.
happens with Fultz? It happened with
Oh my-
Embiid and
Literally,
Simmons.
the
And
76ers
Simmons
Magic.
and Fultz. What if Mikal Bridges? Oh wait, they don't have him
No,
anymore,
no.
do they?
Wait,
they
wait,
traded
wait.
for someone else.
Conspiracy theory time. What if the Sixers just have their best rookie players get injured and just train them up and build them up for like a year to 2 years? So
What
once
if
they
it's a
come
fake-
out, they're just
fake
so
injury?
godly.
Fake
exactly.
injuries.
The conspiracy theory.
Do we really know what happened to Ben Simmons? Did anyone see any footage?
They
No,
fucking
I don't think
replaced
so.
him.
Go ahead, keep going.
They made a
Is there
clone.
anything really different about your list?
I have the Jazz in the top 5.
So do I.
What did I have? in
Really? I have the
The
Sixers
Jazz
at
are
6.
currently
I had
underrated
Jazz at
just
7.
because
I know.
they're really not a sexy pick because it's just all
Because
defense.
it's Utah.
It's all and it's Utah.
And it's all they I think they're one of the few teams in the NBA that gave up less than 100 points per game.
I wouldn't put Jazz above Lakers. Still, it's
Well, that's
it's
biased, isn't
LeBron.
it?
It's LeBron.
What? I honestly I have the Pelicans at 7, but that's only because a later
well, it's
analysis
just because of
will-
Anthony
will-
Davis.
Yeah. But I also think it's because of the weapons around him. I really don't think that they lost out on Boogie Cousins. I just didn't like
I
his
think they
pick.
got better without him.
I think they did. I just
Exactly.
don't know why the
so
hell
the
he went
Warriors
there.
are cursed because they added Boogie Cousins like the Thunder added
I have the
Melo.
Thunder, I have the Thunder at 8 because I think that a duo is better than a trio.
Yeah,
Russell.
especially if the
Thunder
trio
got-
has Melo in
The
it.
Thunder got much deeper over the offseason,
Look-
though. But I
look
feel
at-
like they'll always have the same record
I'm
as
not
long as
trying to
Westbrook
say-
is playing the same way.
I'm not trying to say that Paul George is equivalent to OKC KD, but I think that they're pretty close in as far as tiers.
No.
And if Paul George
KD
can
would
play
be like tier 1, and PG would be like
3.
tier 2.
tier 3.
Tier 3.
Yeah,
I
tier
would put him at
3.
3.
Exactly.
But listen,
that's 2
that
tiers.
was based off last year, one of his worst career seasons.
Yeah, because he played with
So
Westbrook.
if he was a tier 2 small forward in Indiana.
He was a tier 1 before
really
the
think
injury.
so?
Yeah, before the injury.
Do you think James Harden is a tier 1 player?
Yeah,
Yeah.
undeniably.
There's
Top
very
5
few
player.
though.
Yes.
There's
As far as what position though, because he played both during this.
just
guard, just
Either,
guard.
everything.
either one, he would still be top 2, top 3.
I put him at 1 for shooting guard,
Because
and I
he's
put
a
him at
top
2
five
for point
player.
guard.
Yeah,
Actually,
he thinks,
no, I
he
put
thinks
him at.
Steph is better than
I
him,
think Chris Paul is a better 2-point guard than James Harden.
but he's not the better player.
He's not the better player now, but I think he's a better 2-point guard. I think that Chris Paul is at the far edge of his prime, and last year was going to be his best season before his numbers start to steadily decline. And I think that we saw that, right? He He got what? How many assists did he have last year? Did he have 8? Did he hit?
Yeah, something like that. A filthy amount.
How many points? Like 17?
Yeah, like
17?
around 20, but it was so
No
efficient.
way. No way.
Oh, no, it was
I know he was.
not,
incredible.
not, not 20,
I think it was
but, like,
19.
Yeah, it's like always
19.
he's always up around like that.
He's
He was
always
so
been that.
efficient last year. Oh my god!
Even in New
And he would just shoot step back threes and like all
Wait,
things
where,
that Harden.
Where
does.
was he? New Orleans, Charlotte.
For what?
His team before it, the Clippers, like his first.
Yeah, Charlotte.
New Orleans. It was
New Orleans
something.
Hornets. Yeah, Hornets. Yeah.
Yeah. Then they moved.
Rockets are fucked.
Shut up.
Chris Paul is going to take it up the court. He's going to do some fucking Chris Paul magic. Have a guy wide open, and he's going to look, and it's going to be Melo.
I think that will hurt him. I think that will hurt his assist numbers.
How?
Because Melo's
You
there.
add a good shooter. Give him
Not
the
a
ball.
good shooter,
How-
an
how
inefficient
do you
shooter.
think he's inefficient? He's a okay.
Not from
hoodie
3.
Maybe hoodie Mellow.
All right.
Yeah. Does Melo
Okay.
have a hoodie on?
Yeah, that changes everything.
Just to put this into perspective, Melo took most of his threes when Westbrook passed him the ball, but he shot like 34%.
Honestly,
He shot 34% when Westbrook passed him the ball, which is below average. But when Paul George passed it to him, guess what he shot?
What?
40%, an elite clip. And James Harden and Chris
40
Paul are
is
going to be
elite?
passing him. Yeah,
40 is
40 is
elite?
ridiculous.
It's
40 is
you really think that?
40% from 3 is
I think
ridiculous.
It's
42.
because they put so much pressure on him.
42 is elite.
Like, if
40
Carmelo
40
doesn't...
is on the verge because Nick Young shot like 40%.
If Carmelo
Yeah,
doesn't...
but he's actually a really good
Do you
shooter.
think he's
That's
an elite shooter though?
Yeah, it's the
No.
only reason why he's in the league.
He's a good shooter.
No,
I don't know why
he's an elite shooter, but it's just
It's 'cause
he's
he has
so
a- he has a
bad at
good nickname.
he's just so bad at everything else.
Exactly. But I mean, do you an elite shooter? Because he shot 40 from.
I'd
the
say
clip
he's a
at least
good
once, right?
shooter.
No, you
Maybe
just don't. You
inefficient.
don't think he's a good shooter because he sucks at everything else.
Because he doesn't shoot
It's like J.R. Smith.
well.
Like
J.R.
Kyle
doesn't shoot
Korver.
well.
Yeah, exactly. Like Kyle Korver. You don't think.
But Kyle Korver shot 42.
Yeah, I sit here and
multiple
I
seasons.
think
Kyle
that
Korver
Kyle
nearly-
And
Korver...
that's his career number.
Kyle
42.
Korver nearly shot 50%.
When I think about Kyle Korver, I think
he's-
about a
he's
great...
on
insane.
another level.
When I think about Kyle Korver, I think about a great three-point shooter. When I think
Right.
about J.J. Redick, I think about a great three-point shooter. When I think about Carmelo
42
Anthony,
from the clip.
I think about fucking garbage.
Has
I
he
don't-
ever had 42 from the clip? Because I think that's
No.
my opinion. Yes.
No.
That's an elite shooter.
But he's
That's an
never
elite
taken.
shooter.
He's always
Elite.
takes off the dribble. Like when he was in his prime, he'd never get easy looks. Like you need to shoot over 40% unless you're Curry. You need or like
Curry
KD.
shoots
Or
like
unless you're-
44.
yeah, unless-
that's insane.
Unless you're like Curry or KD, shooting off the dribble that much, like you're not.
What
gonna be
did
able to
KD shoot
40%.
last year?
Like
Did he shoot 40?
yeah, I think so.
I think that Karl Anthony Towns is going to be the first center to. Wait, no. First center on the Timberwolves, at least, to get a 50, 40, 90.
You'd definitely be the first center to ever do that.
You don't think anyone else did that? I thought Dirk might
No.
have done that.
First not a center.
He's power
Okay.
forward.
He didn't play center at all?
No.
Not once? Not a single game?
No.
He didn't tip off.
No, I'm pretty sure he didn't
Okay.
at
Well,
any point.
Shaq, maybe.
Shaq.
He shot 40 from the clip. In our hearts. In our hearts.
All right.
Shaq actually, he shoots threes better now. You ever seen a clip of Shaq
Yeah,
shooting
from
threes? It's
free
pretty
throw.
cool.
No,
No,
yeah,
no,
he actually
he can
shoots
hit
threes.
threes. It's so
I'm
cool.
sure that they can all hit threes in the gym, but would you do that in a game? I mean,
I mean, you're
that's a-
Shaq.
That's a possession.
Or
on
maybe
the
he
line.
just never tried, but if he could, he would actually be good at shooting.
like DeAndre Jordan.
Because he was so
He
lazy.
never learned the form. He was like, I'm big and muscular. Fuck shooting.
He never learned how to work hard.
Why would he risk doing that? If he made a career out of 3-point shooting, then he would have been
No,
the
but
best player of all time. The best player
he
of
could
all
have been
time.
the best player of all time if he just knew how to shoot free throws.
Yeah, no one.
That's
Or
how
mid-range.
hard he
If
didn't
he had
try.
like a pull-up mid-range that was just like insanely good.
Threes weren't
I
even
would-
that frequent, though.
He'd be pegged for 30,
Yeah.
30
So no one
points a
looked
game.
at it as important.
Well, now just everyone chucks at any chance they get.
Well, yeah, because now threes are more important now than they ever were. Like by such a large margin.
I know.
Like
Because the attempted threes, like everyone just shoots threes.
yeah,
Because they know that they get the points back.
Which looks good when you're the Warriors, but when you're a team like the Nets,
Oh my god.
it just looks so
Dude,
bad.
The Warriors have
Yeah.
such a good 3-point arsenal right now because Boogie Cousins can hit threes. And so can Draymond on occasion. On occasion.
Wide open every 1 out of 5 times, sure. All All right, let's move on to.
They're both wide open. They're neither one of them. They're both smart basketball players. They're not going to take contested.
Boogie Cousins, I don't know about that one.
You don't
Draymond's
think
really
he's
smart.
You just think that he's incredibly gifted.
Yes.
All right, that's fair enough. Because if he was smart, he might have been able to lead Sacramento to a playoff appearance.
Yeah, just once maybe. All right,
Just once.
Let's move on to. Since we just did some power rankings, let's do some
Awards.
award predictions.
Way too early. Who's
Yeah.
your MVP, Adriel?
Giannis.
Giannis. Give it.
I was low-key thinking that.
Was the Bucks in your top 10 power rankings or no?
No.
So you're
Has
gonna
there
think he's
ever
gonna
been really an MVP
Westbrook.
whose team? Okay,
Westbrook.
listen. Westbrook. They were the 5 seed, 4 seed that year.
6.
6. They were the 6th seed.
Yeah, they were shitty.
But they were probably still top 10 power rankings because the East was not that
that's true.
competitive. At least, yeah.
The East is never competitive.
Yeah.
But do you think people will vote for another 5th seed MVP though?
I mean, the only reason I think Giannis is... Well, not the only reason. But one of the reasons I think Giannis is going to win is because all his competition is already won. And voter fatigue always fucks over people. Like, Westbrook's probably not going to win another MVP. James Harden isn't.
Because they know that he can put up the stat line that he puts up.
Westbrook probably won't. I don't think Harden will. And Giannis, this will be his 3rd year, right?
Yeah.
And he'll...
3rd? 4th. In the NBA?
Yeah.
4th.
4th?
Yeah.
And he's taken major leaps each one.
The thing is, the Bucks are just such a bad organization.
But
I know.
Exactly.
They have been for a while.
That's
what
it's all about.
built
Westbrook had an awful organization around him, and it led to his MVP because they just gave him the ball every time. So if they do that with Giannis, he'll get an
Who's their head
MVP.
coach? Who's the Bucks head coach? Do you know? Is he good? If you don't know, then he's probably not a good head coach. So yes, there's that possibility.
Also, the thing that would really help Giannis is just the fact that every other big, any
jump
top
shot?
5 player in the league right now,
Gets injured.
no, it's just like James Harden, he's playing with Chris Paul, he's already won.
Yeah,
Russell Westbrook, he's already won.
Exactly.
Like Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, neither of them are gonna win an MVP while they're on the same team. That eliminates so much competition.
Giannis has no
So
competition.
I think this year's MVP is actually a really fun race because it's going to be some dark horse guy that no one's thinking about.
No one's thinking about
breakout
now.
year.
You think that the MVP is going to go to a breakout season?
No, I mean someone from Giannis who turns from an all-star to
Superstar?
But
Yeah.
he's had a pretty rapid progression. He went from a low tier, almost
he went
almost
from
bust.
5 points a game.
People were on the verge
Yeah.
of pegging him as a bust.
Then he started
And
dropping
then-
20. Now
Then
he's dropping
then he was
high
dropping
20s.
Occasionally, he was dropping a 20. He still put up
Now he's
14 or 15 this second year, and then he went from that number, shooting 20 every now and then, to shooting 30, 40 every now and then.
averaging 27.
27.
Yeah, and 10 boards.
Yeah, his stats are crazy because he really does everything. He could be
I'd-
another person that averages.
He probably have more assists.
I'd give him that number.
He could average a triple.
He didn't play
I'd
on the
give him
Bucks.
MVP actually if he learned how to do it.
He also
learned to
averaged 2 steals
Yeah,
and 2
learned a
blocks in
shot.
a season. He could be one of those people.
You think?
I think Giannis' shot is comparable to Westbrook.
I have Anthony Davis.
I don't think
for that
so.
position.
You don't?
Definitely
Yeah.
not. Giannis cannot shoot threes. He doesn't even attempt any threes. Westbrook is inefficient from 3, but
Exactly.
he'd still shoot it.
I have Anthony Davis at MVP.
Anthony
See, that's
Davis.
another guy that people wouldn't pick if
He's incredibly efficient and he's a fantastic defensive player.
The thing is, that's the same case though.
No, but is Giannis is Giannis an elite defender? Because
yeah, he can be.
He can be, but is he right now?
But he could develop into one.
We don't
He
know
could be
that.
potentially the best defensive
haven't
player
s-
in the league, potentially, because of his
he's got
wingspan.
such a big
He could
wingspan.
guard every position so easily.
I think that Anthony Davis is incredibly efficient. He's got great weapons in Mirotic.
Well, he'll put up some
Moore,
amazing numbers, but do you
Holiday.
think the Pelicans are going to be...
Yes,
good
I
enough
do think
for
that they're
an
going to be a
MVP?
top 5 seed. I think that they'll probably sit around 4. Because that they'll have, if Boogie Cousins didn't get hurt, they would have finished as 3 seed, undoubtedly. And they ended up sweeping the 3 seed anyways. They were the 6 seed, right? They ended up sweeping the Blazers, who were one game ahead of them, right?
Yeah.
So, and that was without DeMarcus Cousins. And then they went out in the offseason and they got a bunch of guys. You wouldn't.
AKA Julius Randle.
Okay. Yeah.
Alright, my MVP pick is actually it's LeBron.
LeBron.
I don't think so. Voter fatigue. I think that.
No.
I think he's gonna deserve it, but I don't think he's gonna get it.
I do.
No one's voted for him. He hasn't won the MVP in a while, and now he's on a new team who's not very good. But if he carries this team to a top 3 seed, really, really tries his ass off, and Brandon Ingram is good, then, I think he sees this as an opportunity because he's looking at the MVP race and saying, hey, if I get a top 3 seed this year with the Lakers, people will vote for me for MVP.
But he has to realize.
So if he goes all out, I think this is his year.
Last year was the last year that he's ever going to go to the finals.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
And he got 4-1.
4-0'd.
They got swept? No.
Yeah, they got swept.
They did.
Yeah, it was a no. Defensive Player of the Year, who you got?
Anthony Davis.
Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi.
It's no secret that he's the best defender in
But
the
is
league.
Kawhi going to play?
He's got to play.
He's been the top 3 in the league for the past 5 years in defense.
Anthony Davis could easily win it, though, too.
His only competitor is Joel Embiid.
And
for that
Anthony
position.
Davis.
Defensive
I don't think Rudy Gobert didn't put up defensive win shares last season in which he did the season before. So
Rudy,
he's in a decline.
Here's the thing about
in
Rudy.
defensive numbers.
He's really good, but then he got exposed in the playoffs, and it's just wow.
Who?
There goes your clout.
Against the Rockets, he got exposed because when he had to guard Harden or Chris Paul, he just
you're
got
putting him
toasted.
against guys.
Yeah,
who are
but
much,
someone
much
like
faster.
Anthony Davis, he could potentially guard Harden and defend
Potentially.
the paint. Yeah.
But he's better at guarding guys who are
Which makes him more
who are
valuable.
threats in the paint. And I wouldn't really consider Harden or Paul to be threats in the paint.
Right. 6-man. We're just gonna go by defensive player and 6-man fast because those two are
Terry Rozier.
Less relevant.
yeah, those are less relevant.
Terry
And
Rozier.
It's a good pick.
That was a good pick. Oh wait, actually,
Playoff genius.
6-man actually could be pretty interesting.
Who do
Terry
you
Rozier
have?
is amazing.
Yeah, he's not going to start.
got a low-key
over
pick.
Tatum or Brown. Who would you
Yeah.
have?
Julius Randle.
Randall's not a starter?
No, because of Mirotic.
Mirotic, damn it.
So, Julius
That's a good
Randle.
pick. That's a good
Yeah,
pick.
because last year, he was at the end of the year, he was hogging ball on the Lakers and putting up a lot of points. So if he comes in off the bench and Anthony Davis is gone and just hogs some more ball,
Do you think they'll
he could
make room
average,
for him on the starting lineup if he starts to do that?
no, because they need Mirotic to shoot threes.
You can shoot threes off the bench.
No, but he needs to shoot threes so Anthony
All
Davis has
game?
more room.
Spacing.
They can't have two
Julius
guys in the
Randle
paint.
could potentially average 14 and 7 or something.
I got him at potentially. Say, given that he might win the 6-man, he could probably put up 16 and 8.
16 and 8.
Adriel, who you got?
I got Dennis Schroeder.
Gross.
I know you hate him, but I think in his first couple years with Atlanta, when Paul Millsap was there, he wasn't the number 1 guy, and he still managed
He
to.
was just a bench player by then.
Yeah, and he still kind of stood out. His name
up
was
and
known.
coming.
Exactly.
He's always been up and coming. He's been up and
But
coming
the
for the past 3 years.
same things that you said about Melo. He's inefficient.
Okay, but it's different.
No, it's not.
His name's not Melo.
6-man of the year, in my opinion, has to be one of the most efficient bench players.
And Melo's going to start,
For what?
more than likely.
No. Really?
You think Melo's
Is
going
he
to
going to
start?
be a starter?
No.
No.
Well, in the best case scenario, no.
in the best, yeah.
Worst
but
case
do
scenario,
you think
he
he's gonna
gets
start?
25 points a game on 45 shots.
Look, he can play a lot of minutes. He can play a lot of minutes. I don't want him to be in certain lineups.
That's the problem.
I don't want him
Give
to
him
be with
minutes.
Harden a lot because I don't
You're
want that
waving the red
defense.
flag there, or the white flag.
All right, let's get into some more interesting awards, like
Most improved?
most improved.
Brandon Ingram.
Lonzo Ball.
All right, listen. Let me explain mine before you get
Brandon
into
Ingram
Alright,
is a good pick.
that. that's actually a good pick, but I don't see him getting much better than 7 assists and 7 rebounds. So he really has to put up a good points per game number
I think,
and great defensive numbers.
but where I think Brandon Ingram is screwed is that LeBron's there now.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That makes him
Yeah,
a much
but-
better player.
But it makes his
Kyrie-
touches a lot less.
Kyrie scored a lot
Yeah, but
when LeBron
look,
was there.
Ingram didn't have 36 minutes per game before him. His numbers went up in his per 36 minutes stats, which means that he's probably not going to hit 36 minutes this year. He's probably going to be sitting around 34, 35.
People forget Brandon Ingram is still only 21.
And he's coming off of a great season. He shows tremendous promise. I think that he'll be upside 20 points with about 6 rebounds and 4 assists to show for it.
Maybe not 4 assists.
You don't think he's going to get 4 assists?
Maybe like 3.
If Lonzo develops the way that you guys think that he's going to develop?
He's got Lance gets assists, Rondo gets assists, Lonzo
you
gets
really
assists.
think that Lance is going to keep his
assists.
assist numbers on the Lakers in comparison?
Yeah, it'll go down a little bit, but he's a lot better playmaker than Brandon Ingram.
You really think so?
From passing, yeah.
You think he has better court vision?
Yeah, his vision is actually pretty nice. He's just an idiot.
He's just a beast.
Just Lance.
Lance.
All right, well, who's your pick?
Yeah, who's your pick?
I got
the dark horse.
I got DeJounte Murray.
DeJounte?
Yeah,
The
DeJounte
Spurs?
Murray. Yeah, Spurs point guard.
Okay.
Because Kawhi just left, and
Is he going to be a starting point guard?
yeah, he's starting because Tony Parker isn't there. Just no one's there. He's got the keys except for DeRozan, but like, just give it to Murray.
What was the stat line last year? Do you know?
It was like
We'll wait on that.
it was it was like what?
It had. Did he put up 10 though? I don't know.
Yeah, he did.
He put up double digits.
Yeah, he did. He scored like
Look up his per
over
36.
It's just his defense. He's like he could be a
He's
Kawhi
not a good
Leonard.
defender.
No, he's an amazing defender.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing. He can't shoot, but he's an amazing defender.
Kawhi can
he's
shoot.
learning to shoot. Well, yeah, Kawhi can
Kawhi's
shoot.
got a
Yeah,
great
but Kawhi can
fadeaway.
shoot.
He's got a great pull-up jumper.
Coming out of college, Kawhi couldn't shoot.
Go ahead. What's his stat clip?
Let me read it right now.
What is it? But yeah, I think that.
I think that.
Murray
Oh
can
shoot!
have
Never
it.
mind.
But if he's that
No,
great of a
he only got
defender-
22 minutes last year.
Okay, but what was his stats?
It was 8 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists.
Damn.
He's not
Look up his per 36.
exactly. So
Look up the per 36.
if he gets like 16 points a game, his per 36 would be like over double digits.
Just look it up. What was it? What was it?
It was 14 and a half, 5 assists,
How many rebounds?
5 rebounds.
Okay.
Yeah, so honestly, because if Murray doesn't develop, then the Spurs are screwed for their future. But if he does become really good,
That's probably why they sold so low on Kawhi.
yeah, that's like
because they needed to build around him.
yeah,
With
exactly.
Pirtle. He's a good.
And his stats
center.
really like he didn't average a lot last year, so if he
He's got a
comes
lot
up
of
big this, yeah, he's a lot of
room for improvement.
yeah.
I like that pick. All right, coach of the year. Go ahead with that.
Brad Stevens.
Luke Walton.
Brad Stevens.
I don't know why you guys are
I
so
think
sold on Brad Stevens.
You have to
Because
be
the
'cause you have to be a
Celtics are an
top three
amazing
to
team.
win
Yeah,
Coach of
but
the
that
Year.
is all done from their GM. Like he did not build.
Yeah,
the
but
team.
Brad Stevens, you don't understand how many like he runs like a Warriors type offense. He's just so good at it.
If Brad Stevens wasn't coaching when they played the Cavs, I don't think they go to 7.
I don't think they go to 5 without Brad Stevens.
His ability to take that team was
Just think about someone like a coach
Extremely
like
impressive.
Tyronn Lue, who is
I
constantly,
don't think that Luke
who is
Walton.
constantly fucking up.
No,
And then you go to Brad Stevens,
You-
who is just a savage with the X's and O's.
I don't think that Luke Walton is going to have the Tyronn Lue effect. It's just like completely embarrassed as a coach because LeBron's on his team.
But I don't
But
think
I-
the Lakers will be good enough for him to win Coach of the Year.
I think that they'll be good enough. I don't think they'll be good, but I think they'll be good enough. And I think that they'll probably be somewhere near 50 wins.
Somewhere.
50?
Well, you're picking them as like
48. I have
fifth
them
the best
48,
team, so they have to
48,
get at least
34.
Yeah, but in the 50s? Like,
Not
I'm
in the
thinking like a
50s.
high 40.
Yeah,
not
I
really
said 48. 48 is a good
in the
number for them.
league.
Yeah, but like, everyone's in the West.
Everyone is in the West, but it's all the players are migrating to the
And I wasn't even going strictly off record. I was just going off how good I think the team is.
Like how
They're
far
all
they make
going
it
to
to
like
the
the Warriors
playoffs.
anyway.
Exactly. Like,
Doesn't matter.
no one cares about record because
Unless you
no
want
one
to see
tries.
On which team?
The only time people care about
Warriors
record.
don't try, and LeBron did try last year.
The only time
because he wants the
Which just
East
made
every-
it twice as frustrating when they
He won.
both
How
made to
many
the
series
finals.
did he take to 7 games that season? That's
all
tough
of them.
to do, man. Yeah, really.
This
All
man's
of them.
bionic.
bionic.
He's 34, man. That's crazy. I can't imagine him playing for much longer. Like with his athleticism,
But-
like that thing dies off quick.
Yeah, but
athleticism.
the thing is,
Look
his
at Derrick
athleticism
Rose.
has already like died off a little bit. It's
Look at
just
Derrick
that
Rose.
he's so good you don't even notice.
You kind of do. You will.
Because Derrick Rose is just
No, but
Derrick
he just-
Rose.
He just fell apart. Like he broke off.
Yeah,
into
but
a
LeBron
thousand
never gets
pieces.
injured.
Exactly. So are we coming up upon a season in which LeBron does get injured? Because he's so...
I think the only way
He's not like... I'm not saying that he's, got paper bones. But,
LeBron.
he's got the opposite of paper bones.
Yeah,
right?
he's never shown a sign of being not
The
durable.
only way he would get injured is if he fakes an injury.
Fakes
and
an
then
injury.
just sits out. to
After
tank
his
it
first game with Lonzo.
Sits
Oh,
out
we're
the
done.
first season.
out. Just
so he
watches JaVale McGee put the ball into the other team's hoop. All right, we're done.
Shacked in a fool.
I broke my leg. Yeah, that was so annoying how the Warriors stood up for JaVale McGee. That was the funniest part about Shaq and a fool. Just Shaq clowning him every single time, even for the slightest thing. Just always
Especially
watching him.
KD. He tried to...
Yeah,
He
KD.
tried to roast on Shaq.
Exactly. Like, that was so funny. And that one time when they were just like, all right, no more JaVale McGee. You can't do it, Shaq. Imagine, like, Shaq was like, psych, JaVale McGee. I don't know, it's so funny.
Our
They
last
can't even
award...
do it anymore.
Our last
We covered all
award
of
is
them.
No,
Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year. Adriel, who's your Rookie of the Year?
My rookie of the year is Michael Porter Jr.
Nope. Not buying into that.
You
Not
won't?
doing it. I'm not buying
You
into
won't.
Michael Porter Jr. I don't think you should either.
I think he's going to have the Kyrie effect.
No. No.
No.
What team did he Nuggets?
Nuggets.
The Nuggets want to be good.
The Nuggets want to be good. What happens to Thomas? He's another bench player again? All of a
Yeah, he's
sudden?
a 6.5.
Yeah, he's a six-man.
I honestly don't think that Porter's a starter yet.
I think
I
Porter
think
is
that
a starter, so they
he
can
hasn't
develop
shown
him.
mass development in college.
Well, neither
He's
did
just-
Kyrie, but look at him
He didn't
now.
play
Yes,
in
he did.
college. Yeah, Kyrie didn't play in college.
Kyrie played for Duke.
Yeah, he didn't play.
He didn't
He's
play. He got injured.
Okay, but he played a good amount of games to let you know.
No,
This
he
guy's
didn't.
got some-
He
was
did
just
not.
that good.
Yes,
He didn't play. He was
He
just
did
that
play.
good. No, he didn't.
he played in a game.
One game.
In a game.
2 games.
He played in a
Maybe
game,
one game, but he was just that good.
which is what Michael Porter Jr. is going to do.
No.
Yeah, but he didn't get picked first. He got picked 14th.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he's in the Nuggets, which is a good place to be.
Do you think that the Nuggets is a good organization for him? No.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. A lot better than going to somewhere like the Kings
Exactly. Like
Kings is like a
if I were to
shit
be
show.
drafted,
or the Suns. Jesus.
That's Ayton, who's my Rookie of the Year pick. And it's tough.
What do you think
because-
he's gonna average? You got double?
Yes, 14-12 maybe.
Actually, his stats might be inflated because they're so bad.
I know, exactly. And,
And they
Rookie
will
of the
feed
Year,
him the
you're
ball.
not looking for a Rookie of the Year that carried their team. I mean, look at
Except
Ben
unless you're
Simmons.
Donovan Mitchell.
That-
Ben
yeah,
Simmons.
but he didn't win. Ben Simmons did.
Yeah, but Ben Simmons did carry his team. His team was
No,
nice.
Joel Embiid carried that team.
Yeah, but Ben Simmons was a big part and for their
It's a
record.
big part, but he didn't carry it. He
Yeah,
just put
but
the
their team
on
was
his
still
shoulder.
good. Like,
Yeah, I know.
the Suns
but
are terrible.
If you take out Ben Simmons, they probably lose out about 15 wins. Same thing with Embiid.
Exactly.
how long do you think Devin is going to stay loyal to them?
He just
Loyal?
signed a contract.
Yeah, I know, but
extension.
like, how long do you think he's going to deal with their bullshit? Like, do you think he's going to get sick of it
Ayton
eventually?
is good, he will stay there long term. Ayton is good.
even
and they
that's
tank-
not enough.
if they-
The front
if they
office
tank
will
again-
still mess it up.
If they tank again and draft, like a
They could-
good point guard,
They could draft LeVar Ball, and they'd still be bad just because they're the Suns.
I don't think
Alright,
that's
well,
possible.
there's 7 candidates
Maybe that's a
for
little
Rookie of the
stretch.
Year.
They could draft like Smush Parker,
They could
and they'd
draft
still be bad.
Prime Jordan and still be bad.
There's 7 real candidates for that award though, and it's
I'm picking Sexton.
Ayton, Bagley, Jaren Jackson, Doncic, Young, Bamba, Wendell Carter. Who'd you pick?
I'm picking Sexton.
I don't have him in the top 7. I don't think that his impact to a team that bad is going to be effective enough for him to earn that award.
I think it's going to be perfect. Lily, he gets to do whatever he wants, and he gets
yeah,
to grow
but
as a player.
that's where you cross the line.
He
That's
doesn't
where
have-
statistics meet wins.
He doesn't have a team around him.
He
He's
does
Kevin
have-
Love.
Exactly. He doesn't have a team around
doesn't.
him.
Here's J.R. Smith.
He's so fun.
J.R. Smith versus the shot clock.
Exactly. Sexton could just drive it in. Maybe kick out to a shooter. Maybe fake pass to a shooter.
Take pass.
You're giving all logical options that any NBA player would do. Those are literally any options. I mean, Kevin Love, what do you even call him now? Because he's changed his, the entire
You call
persona.
him. You call him
of his
bad
player.
Chris Bosh. That's what you call
Bad
him.
Chris Bosh.
Bad Chris Bosh. They should bring back Chris Bosh.
Chris Bosh is like dead.
Good
like he
Brian
really almost died.
Scalabrine. That's what he is.
Because of his blood clots. But then he said he wanted to come back.
He's a
But
good
then no one wanted him
Scalabrini.
back.
That's what Kevin Love is. Good Scalabrini. Oh my gosh.
We got through all our awkward, early, and probably terrible predictions.
I think that at
So-
least one of us is going to be right.
Yeah.
More than likely me.
Nah.
Yeah,
I don't.
I think so.
I think our predictions were pretty solid.
Well, yeah.
At least we got the Warriors
when you're
right.
talking about the NBA,
Yeah, it's kind of hard
If
to
I
so
think-
predictable.
If I'm thinking
Yeah, I know. It's
one prediction
the most
that I think is
predictable.
going to be completely true is Giannis MVP.
I think that is going to be completely false.
There's very little.
I
doubt
could see
in my
people
mind.
pushing him a lot.
I am not sold on Giannis. I'm sorry. I like him as a player. I think that he is the future of Milwaukee, but he is not an MVP yet. Maybe when he's 27 or 26. Then we'll get back to that. And then at that point in time, the Bucks will actually be good, and so they'll
No.
have a shot.
By that point in time, he's leaving.
Listen, if you're the 5 seed in the Eastern Conference, you are not winning an MVP award. I'm sorry. It's true.
Wes.
All right. I think it's time to end this episode here. Thanks for listening. And
It's been a great time.
yeah, James,
Thanks.
do you want to say anything to your the new fans that just
I'll be
heard
back
you speak?
soon.
Yeah, Hame's the Lord.
Hame's
aka
the-
James Gerard.
James Germez.
Adriel,
Yes,
you want to say
appearance.
anything?
I'm erect.
That's how you end it.
Well, I guess that's how we end it. Peace out, guys.